Okay, so last video I showed us how to pull in some data from a database. So this video I'm going to show you how to actually link it up and use it. All I'm going to do here is just display different Pokemon pulling down from a database. Probably going to be a bit of a long one, but strap in. So right now if I hit play, this is actually pulling in 4 different bits of information about different Pokemon stored in a database. The last video I made shows you how to set up that database, but essentially I've got 4 Pokemon sitting there ready to use, and now I want to use them in Unity. I want to start changing this user interface based on the different Pokemon. So what I'm actually going to do is, if I have a look in here, here's my database handler. It's fetching all Pokemon. You can see I'm pulling down or iterating through the Pokemon from the server, and I'm grabbing all of their values. I want to store these in a local list. I don't want to be calling the server every single time I want to check for Pokemon. I'm going to pull it down at the very start, and the only time that list would change or be overridden is if I was to delete or insert or alter a Pokemon. I don't want to. I want to reduce the number of server calls, and it's also better for memory management as well, unless you're working with an enormous data set, but that's a whole other issue. So what I want to do is essentially set up a Pokemon class. Now, classes in Unity, you can come onto their docs and have a look at it, but a C# class is essentially there to help um, manage objects. So I'm going to go to scripts, create a class, and I'm going to call that class Pokemon because it's going to be a Pokemon object. I'm going to open it up, and here's my class. Now, my Pokemon is going to have a number of things. It's going to have an int, it's going to have an ID. I want to make these public because I want to be able to access them as well. So I'm going to make it public. It's going to have an ID. It's going to have a string, which will be its name. I'm going to have another string, which will be its type. I'm going to have another int, which will be its HP. Another int, which is going to be its, I'm going from memory here, its height, and another one, which is going to be its weight. So let me just check and see that I've got enough fields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's good because the ID is going to be just hidden. So now I'm going to build what's called a constructor, essentially something that I can make a Pokemon object like it's a variable. So I'm going to go public and Pokemon. I'm going to go int I for ID, int m, I could be a type strike, string n for name, string t for type, int h for HP, int he for height, and int w for weight. And when I make a new Pokemon object, all I'm going to do is set the ID to whatever the ID I pass it, set the name to the name that I pass it, set the type to the type that I pass it. Ooh, terrain layer, that's not right. Set the HP, HP, so that now my naming convention here isn't fantastic, but I'm doing this because otherwise this video will take forever. I'm going to set the height of my Pokemon to the height that I pass it, and I'm going to set the weight of my Pokemon to the weight that I pass it. So I've got my public class Pokemon, so I can now make Pokemon objects whenever I please. So the other thing I need to do is store a local list. Now, I'm a big fan of separating things. I could use a static object here, but I don't like using static objects. They're subject to memory leaks, or they have been in the past. So I like to just handle or track everything myself, all my objects in the scene. So I'm going to make a class called Pokemon List here. This is going to be where I'm going to go whenever I need to reference some kind of Pokemon object. Now, I know I need my systems generic. I think that'll be enough. So I'm going to make a public not laid up, jeez. A public list here, and the list is going to be a list of, jeez, autocomplete is getting me, of Pokemon objects. I'm going to call it PokeList, and I'm going to make a new list of Pokemon. I'm also going to make a public function called add Pokemon, so I can add Pokemon to the lists. And the overload that I'm going to give it, it's going to have to take a Pokemon object. So you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. So I'm going to give it a Pokemon object, and then down, oh, public, that's got to be a void. It's not returning anything. So I'm going to add Pokemon, and what I'll do is I'm going to use a small and change this because I should be using proper camel case. I'm going to say PokeList.add whatever Pokemon I pass it. So now I have a Pokemon class, so I can construct a Pokemon object. I've got a Pokemon list that stores all the Pokemon that actually come in. So in the database handler, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make a public PokeList object, because it's going to be something that is going to be a Pokemon list sitting in my scene. So this is the list. So when I actually fetch the Pokemon from the database, instead of just setting all that here, I'm actually going to create a current Pokemon like this, make a little variable, and I'm gonna, oops, I can do this all in one line. I'm gonna make it equal a new Pokemon object. Then I'm gonna give it the ID, the name of the Pokemon, give it the type of the Pokemon. I'm gonna give it the HP. I'm gonna give it the height. I'm gonna give it the weight. So it should actually, when it loads or when it runs through everything in the database, it'll also add a local reference to that list that I made. I'm going to go back to this list just very quickly, and I might actually, after I add each Pokemon, just to check each time, I'm going to do a debug dot. Now I use log error because it comes out as red, and it also helps me to remember to delete them later. But I'm going to make sure that my PokeList.count is printed out, so I know it's adding something each time to that list. So if I go back to Unity now, make sure that compiles, which it does. I just want to make sure of a couple of things. Number one, I don't have a Pokemon list in my scene yet. I've made the class, but I haven't actually put it in my scene as an object. So I'm going to drag the Pokemon list in. This is where all my Pokemon are going to be stored. And I'm also going to, oh, that's all I really need to do, to be honest. I just need to make sure that list that now exists is also referenced in the database. So if I hit play, oh, you know what? I'm not actually adding it to the list yet. Come back to my database handler here. What I want to do is in that Pokemon list class, I'm going to use that add Pokemon function, and I'm going to pass it the current Pokemon that it's actually pulled from the server. That would make a lot of sense. So if I hit play now, it's probably going to throw some log errors at me. Yep, it has, because it's adding a Pokemon every time, which is good. One thing I do want to point out, this list is going to look empty because Unity doesn't know how to display a Pokemon object, so to speak, because it has, it's a class with a bunch of different information. I can verify that it's actually going in because, for example, after I add it to the list, I could go, I could print out, for example, debug.log. I'm going to get my PokeList. Whoops. At spot, let's go Pokemon dot ID -1, just because ID start at 1. So I could get that, and I could get the name of the Pokemon, for example, just to see that it's actually populating it with something. So it should actually print out the names of our Pokemon and hopefully not an error, which it has. So those objects, while it says none, that list is actually being populated now, and I can use that information later. So I'm going to get rid of those logs. I don't need them anymore. I know it's working. I could comment them out, but I'm not going to. I might make a little comment here that I am making a new Pokemon and adding it to my local list. So I now have my Pokemon information pulling in from the database that I've made, and I'm storing it in a local list through a Pokemon class. Might actually end this video here, and in the next one, I'm going to then start linking it up to this user interface so I can use it. Cool.